I'm trying to go live.
Yeah.
I hope we don't get kicked out. Huh?
Okay.
I'm trying to go live. I hope I don't get kicked out.
Streaming on Facebook.
Meetings.
Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
All right. Hey guys.
Episode
Hi
11.
everyone. This is episode 11 and it's the most interesting episode ever. Welcome to the Three Marketers show. Every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. we're gonna go live. Usually it's just three of us, but today we have a very special guest. Basically, what we do in the Three Marketers show is really to discuss one digital marketing related topics every week. So this week we have search engine marketing, and we are not going to talk about it ourselves. Definitely, I'm not qualified, but we have somebody who's really qualified. We have Jason. Jason was actually the winner of Industry Rising Star by Google Malaysia, and Jason was from Search Guru, one of the fastest growing what do we call digital agency in the region. And we have Jason, can you say hi to everyone?
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
First time doing this.
First time doing live.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to fill in a bit about my experience. How we knew each other, how we met. It was actually in 2013, and I was actually operating my startup, and Jason was the one who's helping me with my Google search campaign.
Yep.
And at that point of time, can you imagine we know each other for that long, and we only met once physically?
Yeah.
That was the only damn time that we met, when we were actually, like when I moved here, it's about a year ago, right? It's just last year.
Yes.
Correct. So
for the past 7 years, there's COVID.
Social distancing to the max.
Yeah.
So we all just do call, whatever we need to do, we just do call, and then we just, that's how we deal with each other. Okay, but before we actually hand the stage to and ask some questions ask Jason some questions, let me quickly introduce my co-hosts here. We have Manfred. Today we are using Zoom to do this. I think by default, all the names is there because we have some technical difficulty with StreamYard. So we are on Zoom right now, so we won't be able to pin your questions. So when you want to ask questions, please type in the comment section below. And Andrew is going to be tasked to actually bring up the card, to show us the question. So please say hi.
Wait.
Time we do this.
You didn't tell me I'm supposed to write the question there. I'm supposed to write the one only.
No. So basically, we won't be able to do what we did with StreamYard. We were able to just pin the question so everybody can see the same thing together, right? But over here we can't. So we just want to play around with it. So we're waiting for everybody to come in. Hey. So let's. So we have Manfred. Manfred is from Singapore. He's a digital marketer, and another co-host, our permanent co-host, will be Andrew. So Andrew is a master of email marketing. So if you need help in email marketing, you can look for him. Now, today we have a few questions that we want to grill Jason. But Jason, at the moment, can you share with the audience a little bit about other than what I mentioned? Is there anything that you want to share with us about your background? What would be your strength is and all that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, it was really interesting how I kind of stumbled upon digital marketing.
All right.
So you mentioned 2013. I actually joined Search Guru back in December 2012. And the whole process was really interesting because I was a fresh grad at that time. And I was already helping one of my friends' startup to deal with the website and stuff because I came from a web development background as well. And, it was so happened that we actually had a booth in Mid-Valley. We were selling NFC stickers at that time. So what happened was, my future boss at that time, Larry, actually came and stopped by. So we had a chat. So I not only managed to sell some NFC stickers to him, I managed to sell myself to him. In a way, yeah. So without much of a thorough interview, I was actually hired a couple of weeks later. So he rang me up and said, "Hey, dude, do you still remember me?" I was like, "I think so." and do you want to come work for me? I'm like, "What do I do?" Said, some Google advertising and etc. So I was like, yeah, I didn't have anything else to do. I came on board, and then there goes my 7 years later.
Wow, that's a very interesting story.
So that's how normally startups recruit people.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
we
how
go
good
to all
people
the
get
weird
recruited.
places and then we say, hey, I like what you're doing. Come and join me.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
how good
wasn't
people
doing
recruited as
something.
well.
Yeah, I wasn't even doing something related. I just sold something to him and I eventually sold myself to him.
Yeah, because we never look at until now. I've never looked at resume. I normally do interviews when we talk to them. That's where we decide.
Yeah, actually,
Right.
that's very true. Yeah. And then subsequently, throughout my whole career in Search Guru, I have, encountered clients like, yours truly, Jason Gunn. And our first breakthrough was actually taking on the account of AirAsia. So we were really small at that time. I think we had like 6 people as an agency, and for such a huge company to trust us with search, it was something that was truly amazing for us. And it was actually a test account. So we started off with Malaysia and Philippines, and eventually we did so well that they trust us with the whole AirAsia search account. And that was a really, really interesting start. And that kind of built up my portfolio as someone who is an expert in SEM. And, eventually, the other stuff like Facebook came along the way. But I think my own forte was still towards SEM. So managing clients like Maxis, actually Nike as well for a short while. And the other clients across the list, mainly focusing on search, but eventually I became more of an overall digital performance guy. Yeah. So analytics and numbers is basically where I mostly focus on. But of course, that with this, you kind of still need to apply a little bit more of business acumen and also some form of customers' emotions into your strategy. So that's I think where I excel at.
Customer emotions.
A little bit
Emotion.
like psychology lah. I wouldn't say emotional psychology.
The prospects psychology.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So because
yeah,
sorry, I'll just add because I think search is very what we call moment marketing. So someone who must have an intention to type in something to search. Where do we actually locate these moments are rather important for SEM, because that's where we experiment with keywords and how we kind of breach prospecting people to come to our website.
Right. So, I mean, that will bring us. I mean, before that, I want to say hi to those people who actually just joined, because
welcome.
A few people actually texted me. They said, "Hey, why is it not happening?" and all that. Okay, I want to apologize because we had some technical issue just now when we wanted to go live. Poof, everything turns into pumpkin. So here we are,
and we have to improvise.
Yeah, we have to improvise. We all do all the time, right? So remember, questions type in the comment section below, and Jason is for you to grill today. And this guy
Bring
isn't
it
cheap
on.
now. Yeah, he's ready. So I want to bring the first question of today.
Okay,
we won't be
I got
able
it
to
done.
just put your. Okay, what's SEM's
can see it,
position? Yeah, we can. Just hold
Okay.
there.
Oh, wow, okay.
What is SEM's position in the marketing funnel? What is search engine marketing's position in the marketing funnel? So what is your take, Jason? Thanks, Andrew. Andrew. I think everybody will see that.
Perfect.
Thanks. Loud and clear.
Nothing is going to get us down, man. Not even technology.
But I will type it into the Facebook chat as well so that everybody can follow. But meanwhile, Jason, it's yours.
Yeah. So it's really interesting how digital marketing came about, and now that I would believe majority of the people actually spend more money on display channels such as social media, Facebook, and a lot of times it's the push channel that we spend the most, but it's the pull channel that we don't really focus on. And SEM's position in the marketing funnel is actually a pull position, right? Someone who, again, is mentioned, someone who has an intention only will actually search for a keyword that will bring he or she to your website, right? So I always view search, not just SEM, but also SEO. I always view search as a channel. There's a bridge from someone's intention to what they want to find out, which is you, right? I usually view it as a bridge, and aside from that, I think especially for startups, because I've worked with quite a few of them, so I also kind of look at it as a gauge of like brand awareness, like how are you performing against the market, right? As you kind of start penetrating into the market, you start your Facebook ads, you're building some noise on social media. If you have videos on YouTube, that would be even better. But like, how do you actually measure success with these efforts, right? Not just engagement, not just brand, like Facebook reach and impressions. What do they tell you? How do you verify whether or not the reach and impressions are meaningful to you, right? And there are I usually use keywords search as a channel to actually read into that, because if you're bidding on, let's say, your own brand keyword, right, you can kind of know use like using the search terms report, you can kind of know what people are trying to associate you with. So search, for instance, like I'll take Citibank, for instance, right? Usually, what would you associate Citibank with? Security, cashback, or even there are times where people are looking for a Citibank Lazada because they have like huge promos on Lazada, and people shopping on Lazada, kind of want to look for Citibank. Is that something that you want to take into account, and that will kind of give you some insights? So that's where your brand kind of sits at, right? So on the brand awareness thing, and in terms of in terms of an overall overarching digital marketing strategy, usually people who come in from search are the best of quality of audience, right? Usually, unless you kind of screw up on your keywords lah. But that's not very not very easy to screw up, right? So building audience lists for your Facebook remarketing and lookalikes, even display remarketing as well. It's something that's very valuable because of the quality that it brings in. So I think these 3 points are like how I view SEM. Yeah.
Okay.
Jason.
So
Yep.
yes, that Jason.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Young Jason.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the old Jason.
Come, bring
Would
up.
you consider search marketing or Google search marketing a bit more, which is more complicated? Running Facebook ads or running Google search ads?
Complicated in the sense of setup, or complicated in the sense of like strategy? Because I think from a
Setup and strategy.
Yeah, from a strategist point of view, it's a lot easier to comprehend Facebook because you look at it in pocketed audience, right? What I'm interested in, what you're interested in, what I think my target audience is interested in. You look at it from a mass perspective. But from a search perspective, you kind of, have to look into certain moments, because you can't, search is a lot more expensive than display for those who don't know, right? And it's because the number of clicks is lower, and you only want to pull in the people who are the most relevant, right? So from a strategy perspective, it's a lot easier to comprehend for social media. But from a setup perspective, I do think search is a one-time setup. One-time setup meaning that you kind of do keyword research once, and then after that it's more of an optimization phase. So your headache is a big headache at the start, and then the rest it's kind of follow through only. But whereas the dynamics of social media and a display campaign, it's a lot more different. Yeah. So you can test like different audience, like, today I want to test football, tomorrow I want to test volleyball, next day I want to test basketball, and next day I want to test food and travel, So there are different dynamics, I would say. Yeah.
Yep. I have the next question coming up. Before that, Manfred, go ahead.
Yeah, a simple one. If you are running a brand and basically you have all the digital marketing arsenal that you can choose from, can I say that search always nab the hot leads coming in, because normally you are rushing to get some results. So we should always implement search to bring in the hot leads and see some transactions, see some sales. Then you can gain confidence for your client, gain confidence for your management. So this is always the first step. Always implement search. Do you agree with that approach or not?
Yes, and unfortunately, I would say yes, because from a management point of view, if we are only looking at purely numbers, search will definitely be the most efficient channel, right? Because it's always the lowest of the funnel. Anyone that, you build up everything, your people see your video, people see your banner, people see your Facebook post and everything. And then finally they search and then they convert, right? Then you see, oh, my search channel very good. But having said that, I do think that for whichever clients that I've worked with and for whatever marketing strategy that I've seen so far, always had search as always on, regardless of whether or not there's activity on social media, display, video, YouTube, whatever it is. Search always acts as the bridge, the final bridge of a sale or lead. Yeah, so we kind of prepare, basically we prepare the red carpet lah. The search is the red carpet for people to walk into you lah. Yeah.
Yep.
So sorry, one more question.
Sure.
Please.
Yeah. So when it comes to so many channels itself, attribution is very important. Hence, a lot of time people always consider last attribution as search. So how do you fairly attribute to, beside, I think heavily using Google Analytics, where you attribute to how do you do it? I keep it simple. How do you do it to make it fair, so that tell that, oh, boss, management also, you need to spend a bit more money on Facebook, spend a bit more on YouTube. How do you justify the spending?
It actually really depends on the business itself. There are certain businesses that actually need to have a first click attribution. And then there are certain businesses that actually don't really mind having a last click. I would say for just for the purpose to prove whether or not your display is working, right? You can kind of test out, like, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure if GA, like the free version, can do this, but I know for a fact that GAP can, the premium version can. But there's a A/B test, or you can actually alternate between the view of different attributes. So different attributes, meaning that, different attribution model, I should call that. And, once you start running your display campaign, and then you can try around with a linear or even the first click attribute to see whether or not your display actually comes in between. If they do, how often does it happen? And once you kind of know where the position is, I think that is already your justification, regardless of whether or not the search is being first or last. Yeah, unless your search is first and then your display is last, then I think the strategy needs to be looked at lah. Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to bring up this question because I caught while you're discussing just now in the early question, you were saying that you want to bid on your own keyword. So my question goes, why bid on your own brand when you already have your SEO or your Google My Business, the Google My Business? Why should a brand still bid for their own brand keyword? What will be your take on this thing? And just fill us in a little bit about this area.
Yeah, sure. I personally think this is a very interesting conversation because a lot of clients, when I was still back in agency, a lot of clients have actually asked similar question, right? My SEO, when I type in my brand, my whole page already, my results are, why do I still need to be on my brand? Why do I want to waste money? I think, there are times where we agree because there are no competitors. You fill up like 10 results. Oh, the first page, all 10 are you, right? But imagine one random day, some competitor just, randomly come in and bid on your keyword. So I'll take my experience with AirAsia, for instance, right? AirAsia usually, like in Malaysia, we don't really have much competition, regardless of whether it's Malindo or Malaysia Airlines, for instance, right? Everyone kind of typically keeps in their own space and compete against each other on routes. So like say KL to Singapore, it's a route. So we kind of compete on routes, but we don't really compete on brand because everyone has their own power. But one fine day, an online travel agent called Traveloka, everyone probably knows them, decides to come in and bid on our keywords. It also means that your SEO results and your GMB, your Google My Business location results are pushed down, right? People will see your competitors' results first when they're searching for you, and you're giving your competitors a chance to compete against you, right? And the number two, I kind of feel that it's really important is because SEO and SEM. So here's where the difference is, right? there are cases where when I actually in training, this happened in training, right? There's a client who said, hey, your my results are already there, and then regardless of whether or not my competitor is there, they are still going to come in, right? And I am not someone who is comfortable clicking on ads. Like just open the discussion, right? Do you guys click on ads right now? That you are in already in the digital marketing industry, do you actually click on ads?
I
I
lazy
do.
one. I see the first one.
Actually,
First
I
one I
do
just click
sometimes.
on. Make you pay more money.
I'm cheapskate, but
Okay, but think of the scenario where you actually want to click on ads. Those scenarios are when you are ready to explore or purchase, right? Let's say if you're looking for a laptop, for instance, right? You're looking for I don't know, a Lenovo laptop, for instance. You will start when you already know that there are few models that you want to buy. Let's say you already know AA123, like this model I already know I want to buy. You will start to look for ads that actually give you the cheapest that you can find.
makes sense.
Right? That's when you want to click on ads. But will you want to be clicking on SEO then? Not really, right? You only want to find organic results when you are in your research phase, when you're looking for reviews, when you're looking for trusted things. So that's where the difference is. So typically for SEM, our ads are very promo focused. We only want to get people the shortest way to convert into a sale, right? So I think that's where our take is, and it's actually really true because bidding on your own brand for SEM is actually the cheapest. I'll go into the final details of the AA campaign later, but like it's really, really cheap.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that. Let's bring up the next question, which is I want to talk about, because the question that we have here is, we want to get a little bit technical because when we're actually doing the preview just now, we told people that it's going to get technical. So I think Jason is totally ready to go technical. So the next question is, how do you plan your campaign structure? I think like this is really technical. I think you'll be sharing something very technical. So yeah,
I'll
how do you
try
plan your
to
campaign
be
structure?
as easy as possible. But like you do kind of need to have a little bit of basics into SEM to actually understand this.
Never mind. Let's make this episode worthwhile of watching, replaying multiple times. Let's do that. But thanks, Andrew, for the card thing. Thank you. So Jason, over to you.
So campaign structure, typically from a top level, we kind of group it up together, like keywords category, right? When you're doing your keyword research, typically from a top level, how I usually group it is first, it's definitely your own brand, right? What's related to your brand? Because there are times where you have the same name with another brand. So how do you want to avoid that, right? That brand is one category. And then what I call the kind of middle funnel keywords, right? So in AirAsia's term, middle funnel keywords is basically the products or the routes that they provide. So like really close categories. So for instance, I'll go back to the Lenovo example, right? Lenovo brand is brand Lenovo, right? And then the second one, the closest to the next funnel is usually your model numbers. Either your model numbers or your category series, right? I don't know what Lenovo has. I know Dell has like their XPS series, their Office series, and their stuff. So those are So those are the secondary one, and then the third one, which is the furthest, usually furthest away, is what we call the generic ones. So generic, sometimes, depending on budget, depending on the whole strategy overall, we sometimes do bid on it a little bit. So generic can be Lenovo laptop reviews, right? Going a little bit into the reviews, going a little bit into the features and functionals. So that's the generic category, right? And the other last category that I usually cluster together is your competitors. So competitors can mean a few things, right? Of course, the structure can change, but usually how I group competitors is like there are usually direct competitors and non-direct competitors, right? For instance, in the case of, let's say, Razer laptops, Razer is a known gaming brand, right? Direct competitors can mean your MSI, your Asus, your Acer and stuff. But there are consumer range that are non-direct competitors, right? They sell laptops, but they are not in your same price range, or they're not even in your league, as so to say. But usually I just cluster them together and then decide later whether or not you want to go head on with them. And I say this because from a competitor's perspective, right, there are times where you actually want to go head on with them. Competing for price, if you have a better promo, or if you're fighting for market share, or if you're looking for an edge over your competitor. And for the non-direct competitors, right, there are times where there are people who don't mind upgrading a little bit more. So there are times like for Dell, for instance, right, Inspiron, your Inspirons can range up to 5,000-6,000 sometimes, and then it could be a slight upgrade to maybe 600 something. You can get an XPS already, that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So it's not direct, but you kind of want to have, hey, pay a little bit more, upgrade, come with us, that kind of feeling. So 4 buckets of keywords, and then the second level to this is you kind of want to break it down into different match types. So for those who don't know, SEM, we can actually have 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 actually. Yeah. So we can have broad match modifier, BMM. We have phrase, we have exact, and then we have negative. So that's 5.
Oh yeah,
4.5.
that's 5. Okay.
Yeah, 4.5 because
4.5.
BMM is actually broad. Yeah.
You just want to say that your favorite is negative, Andrew, and you forgotten about negative.
Because targeting, you kind of thinking positive first, right?
Yeah.
You like everyone want to cast a wider net, but the thing is, we really need to know what to optimize towards. So the fundamentals for this is that we separate all this four buckets of keywords. We further separate them into 2 different buckets, right? 2 different buckets, meaning that one, some agencies call this the alpha beta. I don't really agree, but as long as you understand the concept, right? So what happens is we separate one to the exacts, right? And then we separate the others to either your broad, your BMM, or your phrase, right? The reason of doing this is because exacts is where you can optimize on the bits, because it's already the exact keyword, right? And you can kind of control the bit for every single keyword that you have. Of course, the closer the group, the closer your CPCs are, right? But what I usually call for exploration, which is your broad BM, your BMM, your phrase, right? And then your optimization, which is your exact. So the concept of this is that usually I'll do a 30-70, meaning that 30 for exploration and 70 for exacts. Because exacts is where you already know these keywords. Like eventually you get there, whether it's 70 or not, eventually you get there. Exacts are the keywords that are actually giving you the sales, the leads, and the conversions. And then exploration is for when you don't have, because you can't guess what everyone is searching for. There are times where people actually have typo don't know how to spell or searching for new trends that you don't even know about, right? So the exploration side, which is your broad, BMM, and your phrase, will still continue to get new keywords for you, new search terms for you. So eventually what you want to do is you want to pick up the search terms from the broad and then put it into your exact. That's what you do for me, what I did last time was either on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So go through your search terms, take them out and plug it into your exacts so that you can continue optimizing. All right. So the campaign structure, this is the basic campaign structure. So for every single category, right? For no matter it's brand, your middle, your second tiers, your competitors or your generics, right? It all can follow the same rule, right? So exploration and then go exact. And what's really interesting about this is that I wouldn't say whether broad is good or phrase is good or BMM is the best or whatever it is. I don't really agree with something that's the best, because it really depends on your budget and the amount of impressions that you have per keywords, right? There are times where there are. So recently I did one for one of my friends who is selling PPE, B2B. B2B industry is the hardest for you to do. search
Oh
because
yes, tell me about it, man.
there's so little
Honestly,
search terms.
But honestly,
It's tough.
PP for search actually give you the best result for the entire B2B digital marketing.
Correct, because when they are searching for you, they already are looking for something.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's right.
So which is a problem because I can't really optimize. I don't have enough search volume to optimize the exact portion, right? So it then becomes I will need to kind of break the broad down a little bit more so that I can reach out to more, find out for like what actually the industry people are searching for. I still remember back then when I first met Jason that time, I was managing a client that was doing something really interesting. Until now, I never really heard about this industry before. Ships at the port, right? They rust, right? So these guys are specialists in anti-rust for ships.
Holy, wow. Okay.
Anti-corrosion services, they call it.
Correct, anti-corrosion services.
Yeah.
And so basically I was doing search for them.
Wow. But can you imagine the volume of search? Right? Most of it is going to be very small, isn't it?
Exactly. So I think I barely spent 1,000 ringgit a month at that time, and that was like I kept ready. I tried to find every single keyword that I can for that related industry.
Wow.
But then again, right? Think about it. Even if you're spending like let's say 500, right? And for that type of service, if you get one or like 5 leads a month or 1 lead a month, that is a quality lead, right? You close your year, basically, right?
Correct.
So
champagne really.
yeah.
It's a $1 million deals one, is
Yeah, man.
very niche.
Yeah, no kidding. So, but the whole concept still applies, right? You kind of follow into 4 different buckets of categories of keywords, and then you go into a next level, which is your exploration versus your optimization keywords. Yeah, that concept.
I think this part of search marketing is where it gets everybody in their knots. I mean, me included, because before you actually run the campaign, I think like 60-70% of the time is to getting your search structure correct.
Yes.
Compared to Facebook, you can actually run an ad within like half an hour. It comes with creative and out you go. But with search, you got to really structure all these things, your keyword, and then the buyer psychology or the prospect psychology to understand the whole flow before you can actually structure your search. I think that's where most people would kind of shy away when it comes to search, or they actually spend the money the wrong way.
Yes. Which is kind of why we managed to kind of build up our portfolio at Search Guru, because a lot of people didn't know like what was the basic structure or how it should be in a logical form. Actually, honestly, all this came from experience and also logic, right? We did not, it's not rocket science. It's just that you kind of just need someone to actually guide you through, oh, okay, this one I should do like this one I should do like this one I should do like that. But of course, this is all the basics. And then moving forward, there will be more complicated stuff like your bidding strategy, your budget strategy on how you want to break down your keywords even further, and your ad strategy. Now it's much easier because you have like your extended text ads and your dynamic headlines and all those things. But like there was a crazy guy last time when we only had like fixed text ads, right? And the popular way to increase click-through rates is that you must have your keyword in the ad. That's one way to improve your click-through rate, because that's exactly what people are searching for, right? So there's this one guy who posted on internet that he had one keyword, one ad per ad group.
Single ad group, single keyword ad group.
Single
keyword ad group.
Yeah.
Single keyword ad group.
And he maximized what an account can hit the limit.
Right. So what do you think about it? SKAG? What do you think about this?
I tried that before.
Yeah, actually me too.
I tried. Yeah.
That's
results
when,
were so.
Yeah, that's when you're really desperate, I would say. You're running out of ideas already.
Yeah, result was so.
Yeah.
But by the way, since I totally agree with Jason, what he mentioned just now, sometimes it's really about putting together a framework and make people understand and, make it teachable. So it's just like how we did our 2-step funnel framework, that eventually when we were able to break it down simple to you, right, it's a lot easier for people to grasp and it's a lot easier for people to implement. Now I want to ask a quick question. This is really important. We need to find out. If Jason were to teach a class anyone wants to do this, if Jason, I mean, not me, of course, I can't do SEM class, right? But if Jason were to do a, SEM class whereby he would teach you about the framework that he knows and he used in the past many years and share with you, how many of you would like to do this? Can you type a yes for me? So whether you are watching this live or whether you're watching this in the replay, I want you to type yes because I want to gauge. So this is where we can actually, this is where I will be able to, use this data and say that, hey, come on, Jason, today we have another 50 yeses, and tomorrow we have another 50 yeses and all that. So he has to do his course. So I totally agree that we can do this. It's really the easiest way for us to teach. And when you have a framework, like what Jason was saying, it's a lot easier for us to really transfer the knowledge to people. So yeah, we already have a few people saying yeses already. Now, if you are listening to this, if you think that you want to learn from Jason Lau in terms of the structure of how to do the SEM right in his method, using his framework, type a yes. We already have several yeses there already. We have Jonathan, we have Chiwai, we have Margaret. Hi everyone. Again, for those who haven't say hi to us, you gotta say hi to us, right? So just saying. Now this is Jason, by the way, for those who are new, who just joined us not long ago. Jason Lau. He previously he was in Search Guru, one of the rising, fastest growing agency in the country. And then, now he's on the client side at the moment. So Jason was the what do we call the industry rising star awarded by Google Malaysia at that point of time. Crazy. We've known each other for many years, and this is really the time where we can actually learn a lot of things from you. Now, Jason, I want to dig deeper on this. We have the next question for you. Okay, I want to ask, how do you plan your budget strategy? Because I did pick up just now, you're saying that you do this 30-70 structure, but can you elaborate further on this one? I think people would love to learn about this.
Yeah, so the budget strategy actually really depends on, of course, your number of impressions, right? But the basic of it, how this budget strategy actually came about was because of the limitations on the AdWords. Well, now it's called Google Ads, but last time it used to be called AdWords, on the system itself, because you can only set a budget on the campaign level and not the ad group and not the keyword level, right? You can set bids on the others, but you cannot set a campaign budget you can only set a campaign budget on the campaign level. So what happens is then how much would you want to spend for certain categories of your keywords, right? Once you break it down, now I have exact campaign and I have a BMM campaign, right? The problem with having that strict rule of 30-70 is when your exact keyword cannot spend up to the 70, right? Because it's exact, you have a limited number of keywords unless your keywords is unless you have farmed so long already that you actually can manage that ratio. But I say this as a good ratio because there are times where, let's say you have a limited budget, 70% of your budget should go towards converting, right? And how this happens is that once you break it down into broad and exacts already, right? You want to further break down those keywords within the category, right? Those keywords within the category that gives you a better results, right? So for instance, okay, I'll take this for instance. Competitor keywords is the best example, right? Going back to the Razer example, let's say I am Razer, right? I sell laptops, I sell gaming mice, and I sell all these things, but I want to focus on laptops only. Right, so I have two lines of campaigns, right? One is my BMM, right, to target competitor keywords. So HP laptop, Acer laptop, Asus laptop, etc. And then one are my exact. So the exact contains, like say, Acer Predator gaming laptop. What's the Asus one? I don't even remember. MSI gaming laptop, etc. So we have the exact one, and then we have the broad BMM one, right? What is happening within the campaign is that you will find that certain keywords actually appear more than the others, right? So there will be, like, for instance, like if MSI keywords are cheaper and your bids are low, then you find that actually your MSI keywords is taking all your budget for the campaign, right? So how do you want to split it up is that you kind of want to split up between the keywords that are actually giving you the most volume, and then you want to kind of split up against the keywords that are not appearing enough, right? So in the BMM campaign, you kind of want to split up in two different campaigns, different campaigns. One is your MSI that's taking up a lot of budget, and the other ones is the one that is do not have enough to spend, right? So basically what you're trying to do is you want to limit your MSI keywords, and then you want to force spend on the other keywords. And you can only do this on a campaign level because you can only control budget on a campaign level. So this is what I'm saying in terms of how you want to split the budget. Right, it's part of the whole strategy, but it's really interesting to know because this one, you will never know the results of your other keywords until you let it spend, right? Let's say if you're testing, right? So if your MSI keywords is you just kind of want to appear sometimes, or you want to have more control of it, then you can kind of limit or lower the budget for this set of keywords, and then you want to push spend for the other keywords and make your bids higher. So
you break up into different campaign. Let's say you then break MSI into a different campaign and the others. So you actually split the campaigns out from there.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So basically you're doing keyword sculpting.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, I've played around with multiple different type of like structure, because there were times where Google actually tells you that, hey, you can put 3 of this, like say Razer laptop, for instance, right? They'll tell you just put 3 of the same different match type but same keyword in the same ad group. The system will automatically optimize for you. But it's like it doesn't make sense from bidding standpoint, right? Who, if you have the same bids, who go into the auction? So one more thing that I think I forgot to mention just now is that remember I talked about having the exploration into the exact, right? What you want to do is you want to put the exact keywords as a negative in your exploration set. This is something that I from an execution standpoint, it's easy to tell, but it's like from an execution standpoint, I always forget.
Same here. Facebook purchase already, I also forgot to exclude also.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
So it's important to do this because you don't want your exploration to fight against your execs, right? And you want it to only be the most optimized, so you don't want to create competition for yourself. Yeah. So that's something that's really important as well.
Well, this is a lesson on its own already, man, Jason.
This is already a lesson. Consider this a preview. Anyone wants to sign up later? Pay me.
This is a lesson on its own already, man.
Really, so much industrial insights.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch this again.
Yeah, I was taking notes already. You see, I was taking notes already. Later I'm actually probably just want to tweak on my campaign. Thanks for that. Now, Jason, I want to push further on the next question.
Let's go.
What's the other one?
Yeah, the next one would be, how do you do your bid strategy? How do you plan your bid strategy? I think that's really one of the very important thing. Like how do we do bidding? Because now it's getting a lot deeper already. We were started from the campaign and then we went in by the budget strategy. Now we want to talk about the bid. How do you bid? How do we do that? Thanks, Andrew.
Right.
So we started off very primitively by doing manual bidding, actually.
All right.
And it's actually rather interesting because we have this I wouldn't call tradition, but we have this customary. So you know how bids. So the Google Ads bid system kind of works like this. So imagine you go into auction, right? I want to auction this water bottle, right? So I start with one ringgit. Right, Manfred say, hey, I value this water bottle, I give 10 ringgit. I bid for 10 ringgit. Okay, 10 ringgit, right? Andrew say, hey, this water bottle looks damn good. I bid 20 ringgit. Right? And then by the end, Jason say, hey, this one, okay lah, I just want to kacau Andrew lah, right? I bid 25 ringgit. I kacau a bit ni. So the highest bidder is 25 ringgit, right? But in this Google Ads system, you don't actually pay 25 ringgit, right? What you pay is what the second highest bidder plus 1 cent, meaning that Andrew's bid, which is 20 ringgit plus 1 cent, right? Of course, this is very simplistic lah, because we haven't taken into account the quality score
Quality
and
score
stuff.
and
Yeah.
all things.
But you know, that's kind of how it works. So we kind of always had this customary at Search Guru to, you know, because we know people will outbid us by 1 cent. So let's say I bid on Azure keyword, let's say lah, right? 1 ringgit. Usually people will say, hey, all these people should bid 1 ringgit one. I bid 101. So we gay kiao lah, we gay kiang lah, we bid 102, 2 cents above. Okay,
How's the result? How's the result? 1-0.
I don't know. It's a customary lah, but that's the joke part of it. But in all seriousness, I think I've tried multiple different type of third-party tools that are enterprise level, industry enterprise level. For instance, you know, Adobe Ad Cloud, Google on DoubleClick Stack, and etc. Personally, I still find the Google Ads auto bidding strategy is the best. And why I say this is because when you look at from a technical standpoint, right? When you look at the number of signals that they take into account for the bid, actually Google Ads has the most, and it's always a live auction bidding, and so the auto bidding strategies, I think you can just kind of go with what makes the most sense for your campaign, right? It could be a conversion, it could be you know, a CPA, for instance, or you want to just maximize clicks, maximize conversions. You can test all of them out, but make sure you just test it correctly lah. You don't insert too many variables at the same time, but just kind of test it correctly. What's really interesting, I think this is just sharing the experience, right? What's really interesting is that we kind of found out that there is a chance for us to overbid. Yeah, and this one, you know, I'm purely, I don't want to say speculation. It's actual part of an experiment that we've managed to conduct, but I wouldn't be able to tell, like, to this day whether or not it will still happen or the same trend will still happen. So what happened was there was a client that I was working for, and we were bidding on their brand keywords, right? And you know, the brand keywords usually, so they didn't have any competition at all.
Wow.
No competition, right? So brand keyword is cheap lah. So at that time, it was 10 cents per click. Right, 10 cents per click, it was like, okay lah, brand keywords cheap lah, 10 cents per click, consider not bad already, right? So but at that time, the bid was, I think, one ringgit, 102, yeah, 102. And then after that, we were introduced auto bidding, which at that time, that account actually had revenue numbers. So we were optimizing to ROAS, return on ad spend. And of course, we set a target for it. So what happened was, a couple of days later, I noticed, hey, how come I'm not spending enough? My ad spend actually went down. What's wrong? Or I suddenly had a shock, you know, I thought but the problem is my impressions did not drop. In fact, my impressions went up. So I started investigating. So what happened was my brand keywords went from 10 cents to 1 cent.
What?
Why?
And the reason was that and then because at the time, you know, when you optimize the time, the bids actually appear on the keyword level, right? And the bid was 0.01. It also, which means at that time my manual bidding was 1.02, and I could go as low as 0.01 and made it 1 cent, which I didn't know. So I had 9 cents saving, which is really impressive, right? 9 cents means 90, like more
90
than
bloody percent.
90%.
No, not 90%. I think 900%.
Oh, sorry, 900%. That's
Right, 900%. Yeah.
Wow.
So although there's no competition, right? So why was it 10 cents? Why isn't it 1 cent? So it's something that we kind of experiment, and we kind of found out that there is a chance for you to overbid, even with or without a competition. There's a chance for you to overbid, which is really important that you kind of set your campaigns or your ad groups into auto bidding strategies, because that's where they actually give you, so you don't have to manually control it, right? But that's actually where they give you the most optimized number that you can find.
Right.
Bidding strategy. Do you cap it? Do you cap the spending?
Yes.
You have to cap it, right?
We play around with the cap lah. So there are times where we kind of think, we want to loosen it a bit so that it have a little bit more room to explore. Or there are times where we actually, so let's say, for instance, I'll take ROS for instance, right? ROS at, let's say, 100x. So your benchmark is 100x. There are times where I'll purposely increase, like say festive season or whatever it is. There are times I'll purposely increase it to, let's say, 120, 130. So for it to have a little bit more free play, that, because your festive season, usually your keywords will spike a little bit in terms of CPC and stuff. So it gives a little bit more free play for it to actually run. And there are times where I think, I don't want to compete. I know a competitor is coming in, right? I don't want to compete. So I actually drop it a little bit, maybe 80 or 70.
I see. But this method would not be suitable for B2B, right? Or other lead gen kind of, because you can't measure your ROS in this.
Yeah, you can. So regardless of which auto-based strategy, it can be like on a CPA or even on a click. It doesn't really matter. My point is that what we want to do is we want to allow the system to have enough signals and enough flexibility for optimization, for bid optimization. Yeah,
that's interesting. I'm a manual CPC guy all the way.
I used to be until this happened to me, and I was like, oh shit, I need to I need to switch. I need to learn.
Right.
Yes.
I really want to test this whole thing. I mean, eventually, I think today whatever we get, it's already a lot of testing to be done already, man. Yeah. Awesome. So now, okay, before we go into the, I want to bring up the last question that we have for Jason today before we go into the wow. Now, Jason, the question goes, the last question that we have here is actually a lot more straightforward that a lot of, it's a lot more lower hanging to a lot of people, especially for those who are not very, very familiar with SEM, which is, how do you choose a keyword? Is there any strategy on how we should be looking, which area we should be looking at in terms of choosing the keyword for us to bid? Yeah.
It's the easiest question to ask, but it's the hardest to answer. So from my case, from my point of view, a lot of times it's because of experience that I kind of already know what type or what category of keywords will give you what type of results.
Right.
And it's going back to the buckets of keywords that I mentioned, right? Brand, second tier, closely related keywords, and then your generic, and then your competitors.
Okay.
All right. Typically, from an attribution point of view, your brand will give you the best results, right? Because it's the cheapest, and people recognize your brand. But going back to the bigger funnel, is that are you driving enough awareness, or are you driving enough activities in the other channels for people to even search for you, right? So that's a problem as well. So how do I usually choose my keywords? Is that again, I'm no different from any other people. I use the standard keywords tool to look for keywords. But at the same time, it's very specific to these categories. So last time, like olden days.
That was when you were a baby, man.
Yeah. So last time what happened was, there were a lot of advice from other people to say, do include some active terms into your keywords. Active terms meaning include the action, like say, buy, or basically your who, what, when, where, how lah, right? But eventually, after playing around with enough keywords, you kind of realize that people are not like short keywords usually work still quite well, right? Because your brand is the shortest, and then what people are already what people already know, they don't tend to type in a lot, right? So if you're looking for, like, again, going back to a Razer laptop example, right? If you already know which model you're looking for, Razer Blade 13, that's the shortest keyword that you will type in, and then plus what you will find: promo, discount, cheap, right? But the variations are not very far away. So typically what I do is I'll just try to bid on the shortest keyword that I can find. So in this case, it will be the brand plus model lah, right? Razor blade 13, 15, whichever it is. And then coming to the generic category, this is where it plays around with your feelings the most. Because there are times where, you know, people, when you start bidding on like your reviews and all these things, right? There are times where you will get a lot of clicks because people trust your website. People, you know, once, especially when your keyword is your ad title, you put like razor blade 13 review, wow, people will straight away come in when they're searching for review, right? Because that's the most related to what they want to find. But there are times where if your if your item is not too expensive, or if it's something simple that they can complete on the spot, then there are times where you can actually see some results from this type of keywords, right? So I think Manfred mentioned about the surveys just now, prior to us going live. So this is a kind of hit and miss type of keywords in the generic category, right? There are times where you may find certain keywords within this category that actually works really well for you, especially for surveys. But again, this one I can't really tell because I never really tried any campaigns for surveys. And then the last one will be on the comparative keywords. So comparative keywords is basically just brand, right? It's just your brand against their brand. So what are people looking for within their brand? So for competitors, I usually be a little bit more specific in a way where I just want to compete against specific models for them. So if someone is looking for a Razer Blade 13, I would be probably bidding on, let's say, Alienware laptop 13-inch. Right, I'll be quite specific with it. So this is, kind of how the thought process of going through, right? That again, going back to the moments marketing, these are the moments that you kind of want to insert yourself in front of the face of the consumer, right? That's where you want to kind of, hey, oh, okay, I got this also. Yeah, play around with it. But again, going wider to like going wider funnel. It's a hit and miss. So you kind of have to tread quite carefully, especially because these are the keywords that will burn your budget very quickly.
One question. So how long do you test whether this will work or not? As in 1 or 2 days, or how much money? What's the gauge?
I don't really have.
You're happy, you're just turning off already.
No, of course. you must have a benchmark that you want to test against, right? And it really depends on your burn rate, whether or not you can afford it. There are times where I'm willing to test it for as long as a month or a couple of months, just because you may know that these are you want to latch on your competitors' keywords to bring yourself up.
Association. The impression counts rather than the clicks up.
Correct. And you, like, from an attribution point of view, right, you also kind of want to see like a long-term gain of these keywords, because it's not like, there are times where it's not really immediate, especially for search, right? For instance, I've been doing this a lot because I just recently moved house. But like, I was researching for a fridge for the longest time. It takes me months for me. Yeah, exactly. And it does actually bring in that psychology that every time when I search, you are there. Right. So a couple of months kind of makes sense in certain times. Yeah. So it really depends on where you are, which stage you are, and how big your purchase item is.
So the brand that consistently keeps showing their face keep showing up in your face, actually you bought that brand.
Yeah. What
like example, Samsung fridge keep showing up, then you buy Samsung.
Think about it, right? Like, even from I think you guys are Facebook gurus. I've seen your videos, but like, think about it from a consumer's perspective. Like, what's a brand that you actually recognize that you have not bought anything before on Facebook?
Good question. What's the brand that you are? Okay.
But it's consistently right in front of your face, right? I'm not sure if they're targeting you, but I see these guys like all the time. Secret Lab, Singaporean company, right? They're always there. But have you purchased anything from them? Maybe not.
No.
Right?
But do you remember that?
Yeah. Exactly.
You sort of trust them already.
Exactly. So,
Plus, we are showing them 1 hour. I don't charge them money also.
But I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think it's because the same thing that we wanted to build using Facebook as well.
yes.
So yeah,
Of course, there
I agree
are
on
deeper.
that.
Yeah, there are deeper strategies where you apply with audiences on one search, but that's for another day, lah.
Yeah, that's another day.
Andrew is super excited.
Yeah.
Shiwa is saying my 6-day challenge is in front of his face forever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. And my face is in your face forever. That's the worst thing, right? Nightmare. I know. But endure that.
Yeah.
Part of life, all right?
Never mind, we have a younger version of Jason already.
Luckily, we have a younger one.
But unfortunately, spending an hour with this Jason Lau,
I
think your brain, like Jonathan said, your brain will get fried faster. So maybe I'll stick to the old Jason.
That's why I say, I think this is really some G's that a lot of people are not really willing to share. And even they're willing to share also, they are not able to share it in such a structured way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really something that makes somebody who only know how to practice and somebody who is able to teach. And I really like this. I think Jason, everybody's ready for your course, man. I think you're totally ready. So get ready, film your course.
Okay.
I think people are ready to buy.
Okay, by the way, guys, for disclaimer purposes, Jason Lau, the young Jason, doesn't have a course at all. And we are trying to
he doesn't.
We are trying to psycho him to get him to get a course, because I think search marketing is very, very important, an important segment of digital marketing besides your Facebooks and your Twitters and your Instagram.
Yeah, it's totally correct.
And I think his experience makes a lot of difference from the local context. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to convince him to actually create something.
Yeah, you have to do something.
Because I think we needed something like that. Yeah.
I really need that.
Seriously, just to add on something, Jason Lau, one thing, I don't know whether people have told you this before. You have a kind of very calm manner, very magical. And when people listen to you, we got hooked on. We are really in the moment. Then suddenly, 1 hour finish already. So much information to digest. Seriously, I seldom meet people who can catch my attention for so long.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I truly enjoy listening to you, and I sincerely hope that I can meet you more and learn from you more. Yeah.
I'm glad to have that, because I'm just worried that my calmness will bring out the boredom in everyone.
No, I didn't fall asleep at all. It's just like nobody falls asleep, right? Everybody can.
Anybody complain? Come on, guys. The Three Marketers is trying to get Jason now to start his own course. Can you please support us?
Yeah. So hey, really, thank you so much, Jason, for being here. And I hope that this is not the last time that you come up here. So from time to time when your course is ready, also come up and let us know when you're more ready, so that we can actually tell everybody that that you can sign up to this thing. But before we end this thing, Manfred, bring up your wow.
Yeah.
So every week in the Three Marketer Show, we have this wow website of the week. So Manfred, you want to? So this week we have keywordseverywhere.com.
Yeah.
I think it's keyword research.
Let me enable the screen sharing first.
Oh yeah, let me enable you to share the screen. Come, bring it up. So keywordeverywhere.com. Let me type it back into the Facebook page. Yeah, keywordeverywhere.com. There you go. Keywordeverywhere.com.
This one. Let me.
Have you shared? Keywordeverywhere.com.
Let me try. Is it this one?
With a S.
Yeah, keywordeverywhere.com. Yeah. So Manfred is on it. All right. Yeah, keywordeverywhere.com.
You can see the screen? Keyword everywhere?
Yes, it's good.
It used to be free for a moment, then it's very similar to Google Keyword Planner, but I'm very lazy. I like the thing part that actually they can show it outside. I wanna just roughly go through the website for you all. Okay, you all can just go for the actually I don't spend time on it. I show you this part. This part is the most important, where they show all the related keywords. They used to have the matrix, okay.
Numbers.
But nowadays you need to pay for it,
Yeah.
But I'm very lazy, so you can see all the things. You can refer from here and you have an idea. So the keyword I was looking for was keyword anywhere. So they have keyword tool, keyword surfer, keyword planner, related keywords. And there's actually a search volume here previously. If you want to see the search volume, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so it's a lazy way of seeing things. Okay.
Oh, that's actually really, really interesting.
Yeah. I like this.
Yeah, I have this lah. So whenever I search, right, I can see oh, this is really happening. And when I search for my own keywords, right, then I see, oh, okay, what's happening over there.
You've got the Google Chrome extension, isn't it?
I'm using a Chrome extension.
Yeah. Use the Chrome extension.
Yeah, over here you see.
Correct. Keyword everywhere. At one point, I wanted to delete this thing because my Chrome gets really heavy, you see. So, but luckily I didn't.
Yeah, I got too many things
still
also.
Useful,
Correct. Okay, that's
I
all.
can see you have more things than me. More. Check it out. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So keywordseverywhere.com. So check it out. And I think that would actually kind of like wrap this round, this episode of the Tree Marketer Show. We overrun a little bit, but I don't think you mind. So yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah. You have any questions coming from you guys? I think everybody's brain fried lah. Very difficult. So we probably should bring Jason up again. Maybe later. When then for everybody to grill you with their questions, you see. So go back and watch these episodes like 50 over times, and then you should have a lot more questions that you want to actually bring out and share. So remember, if this is the first time you watch this is the Tree Marketer Show. This round we had some hiccups, so we had to go on live on Facebook. But usually we go live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. And if you like this, remember to click the subscribe and follow button to make sure that you get notified whenever we go live. So this is me, Jason. I'm your host, and with my co-host, we have Manfred from Singapore and Andrew from Malaysia, and we have our special guest today, Jason Lau.
Our star guest.
Really one of the star guests that we had, And moving forward, we have more and more guests coming up, but I think in our list, we are all guys, Manfred. We need help to get some female marketers.
We need to have some.
I mean, I do have, but all these female marketers, they are very healthy people. They sleep at 9:30. Hey,
I know, that's why.
So yeah, I need help. So can
people like us start work at 9:30?
I will send copy to them directly and make sure they bring the copy.
So I think let's balance up a little bit. Else it's already like Tree Marketers show. Then all the time, all guys are, and people get bored with our faces. Nah, just kidding. But with the knowledge that all these our star guests are bringing to us, right? I think it's really something very exciting. So this is the 11th episode of the Tree Marketer Show. I hope you enjoyed this. And
so
next week,
one thing next week, my friend Ian supposed to come a few weeks back. He will come and we will share about technical SEO, more on backlinking.
Oh my god!
SEO. We talk about SEM already now. We will talk the other side of the coin, right? SEO.
True. Remember to get your notebook ready, lah. So that's what I did already. We have all the notes written down to do my homework.
Bring your ice cooler so that your brains don't get fried anymore.
Yeah, get cooked. Seriously. Yeah, we probably need that and coffee. Yeah, that's what we do. So
there's
Jason,
there's more to fry, you guys.
I don't mind, man. I don't mind.
Yeah. So yeah, anything else you guys want to add on, Jason? Anything to the audience? All good, right?
No, all good. Any questions, just shoot.
All right, then we can just wrap this up. And if you have questions, you can still type in the comment, and we will see. We will do our best to see. Then Manfred, you want to say anything? Or you're saying bye already? Okay, bye everyone.
Okay, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
See you next week. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.